Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniature. Today we have part of the Super MiniPla line for Change Getter Robo. This is based on the OVA series that was done back in the 90s. And we are looking at the first of the getters in the set. Obviously number one, the Black Getter. So if we can find which side of the box there. I have yet to build one of these Super MiniPla models. These are not like the regular MiniPla, if I can grab one. So we built our, what was it called? Yuseo earlier here while we were in Japan, but I'm quite curious. I have yet to see one of these models actually next to anything giving a good sense of size, so this is going to be a first for me, but we do have the entire set. We're going to start with the Black Getter today. And you can see he's got quite a few optional bits there, which is kind of nice because if you bought the original Getter team individually, Getter 1 does not come with any of this stuff. He only comes with his cape, and all the good cool stuff actually came with the Getter 2 model. So away we go. What is waiting for us? So the Super MiniPla line is quite a bit more expensive than the regular supermarket kits, and these don't have the directions on the box. They actually have an honest-to-goodness instruction sheet, and we have quite a few sets of sprues. One thing to notice is a lot of the parts are already pre-colored. So we have his cape here is black on the outside, red on the inside. His Getter spiked knuckles are all colored already, so that's kind of a nice little touch. We got the gum. I don't want it. And let's see what else. So we got a lot of different colored sprues. We got the guns, the axes. Obviously they're going to do a little bit of painting. They're not perfectly true to their anime representation. Plastic seems pretty durable. Jeez, still not everything. Oh boy. And we're slowly but surely getting there. I haven't come across his face yet. Interesting. I wonder where that is. Somewhere. Anyway, as you can see, we have quite a bit to work our way through here. Most of these models individually cost anywhere from about 2,000 to 2,500 yen, about 20 to 25 US dollars, and depending upon the set, you either need to have everything in the box, or like this set with the Getter Robos, you get lucky, you actually only need the one robot and everything is included. So, without further ado, I'm going to start taking a look at how to get him built, and we'll go step by step. Sounds good. So our head roughly consists of about 4 parts. We have this section right here, which everything attaches to. We have the neck, the back of the head, and then I did find the face. Now, funny enough, we have a already painted one, and quite decently, I might add, but they do have an optional unpainted face for some odd reason that I can't seem to hold in my hand there, but, you know, in case you really want to just go whole hog and do it yourself. I don't. I'm going to use the painted one. Let's see how it looks. So there's our finished headpiece. Looks decent. Looks very Getter Robo. Let's move on to the body. So our body or torso consists of 2 main sections, and each one is about 4 to 6 parts. So our top section, we have the head and shoulder joints, all that's 3 separate parts here, and then we just have the torso parts, armor parts slide in eventually. I feel like I'm not doing this correctly. That's because I'm not. Trying to build models on camera rather than in front of your face is not always the easiest. Okay. And you'll notice we have these holes. We're going to put the spikes in there in a little bit. And then we have the lower section. We have the joint go in here. Just 2 separate parts. And then, very simply, it's not a very complicated build process. So we do have some movement there within the torso we can adjust. All right, time to start making the dramatic billowy cape. Let's get those parts on there now. All right, so interesting note, we went ahead and attached, you'll see the beginnings of his cape along with some of the decals and one of the tomahawks. You have the choice of either putting the extra tomahawk piece in, I know you can't really see it there on my fingers, but it's there, or actually have the scarf area of the cape. It actually just slots into that hole there, and I'm assuming that once the head's on, it'll help kind of keep things in place. Hopefully being the key word there. We'll play with that some more. For the next step, let's build the lower body and the arms. The waist itself consists of 5 parts. We have 2 parts that are making the upper thigh joints that kind of connect together and go on the back of the waist part. We have the front of that, which should just hopefully cooperate like so, and then the connector piece. Am I putting it on correctly? That is always a question that needs to be asked. I think so, yeah. There we go. Pieces just needed to get in there. Alright, so we got the bulk of the body done. So far, so good. Decent size. Not as round as I prefer for my ghettos, but it's okay. Let's get those arms built now, shall we? So, one thing was interesting with the arms is that in the issue of expediency, they just had us build them both completely all at one time. Even though they gave us separate part numbers, which was a bit of a hassle and kind of annoying. In the end, it really isn't that big a deal. But let's just see here. So, first we have the shoulder joint, which is 3 parts. Can I build it? No. The upper arm, cover I guess would be the best word for it. Let's see if I can get it in focus, because having already built one, it is marked. That's the wrong side. No, it is the right side. It's designed, there's a flat edge to this piece, so you want to feel it around a bit before attaching. So otherwise, things won't go where they need to. Now, I already built the one arm. What's interesting is while we have the big blades on the one side, we have a small, teeny tiny piece to stick it on the other. Otherwise, they are practically identical. You can see our getter is coming along quite nicely here. We're going to finish up the hands, and just a real quick comment on the hands is I do got to say I appreciate the fact that we have both the spikes out, the open hands, and the closed fists for holding the getter tomahawks as well. So nice touch there. Next step after I finish building that other arm, it's on to the legs. So I already built one leg, and I'm going to take you guys step by step through. We're going to actually work our way backwards on it, because otherwise it really didn't go together well. So the first thing I want to do is I want to build the foot. The foot consists of 3 parts: the sole, the foot itself, and then the joint. So we got our foot, but now we need to make the lower leg. And to make the lower leg, first we have to make half of the lower leg. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these 2 halves, and this is going to be the back of the knee, and this is where the actual foot is going to connect, and we're going to put all that together. So this is what we end up with. See, so we have the back half of the knee and the polycap type part that is going to connect with the foot. One interesting thing that I noticed about this is you have the actual hole for the joint to go in, but then it's actually kind of capped off so it can't penetrate through the other side. I don't think I've seen that before. Maybe it's just me and I haven't been paying much attention, which is entirely possible. Next step is we're going to attach the other half of the knee, and I did not do that correctly. There we go. And then we're going to actually put the front of the lower leg all together there. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach I don't know about attached, but I'm going to go ahead and put the decals on in just a moment. I already put them on the other leg, you can see, so it's going to go like that. So I'm going to do that. Give me 1 sec. Decals are on. I didn't do the best job, but that's okay, because once I get home, I'm going to go ahead and paint it. And the only other thing missing from the lower leg is the attachment for the knee guards, which just kind of slides in like so. And then we hope that we put it on correctly. I don't think I did. You just feel it. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And that's the lower leg. Now you notice, well, I've got this part completely unattached. Why is that? Well, because now it's time to build the upper leg. This actually slots into the upper leg, which is why I did not build that. Let's take a look at the parts that we need to do that, though. Not a whole lot to the upper leg. It basically consists of 3 parts. We have where the knee slots in. We have our poly cap, which is going to get, well, not really, our plasticky poly cap, which is going to set right in there, preferably in focus. And then we will close it all off and put the other sticker. And then our getter will be ready. And there we have it, our finished getter. Well, not totally finished. Next up, we got to build his weapons and his cape, and then we'll see how he stacks up to some other models that I got laying around here. So our guns and tomahawks are actually both virtually identical. The gun itself consists of 6 pieces, whereas the tomahawk only consists of 2. Basically, the main weapon itself, and then, which I already managed to goof, the remainder of the top of it, which I seem to be having difficulty putting on. There we go. That's nice and thick. It's an interesting way that they molded it, kind of thin and tapered at an angle so that the robots can hold it correctly. Whereas the gun, basically, we have the stock attached to the rest of the model. Why it's a separate piece, I'm not really sure. We have the rest of the gun itself attached. We have the drum magazine along with the second stock, not wanting to cooperate, but come on, dude. We'll fight with that in a little bit, but basically it's going to go like that. And then we have the handle on the barrel as well. It'll look like this. There we go. Anyway, last up we have the mantle, the cape. Now, I didn't notice it, but there are actually 2 separate parts that go on the back, and they just slide right off. I actually had attached the one with the joint. Basically, the cape is 3 parts that all going to get plugged and blocked over so that they stay there, but it has the nice effect and noisy effect of being actually quite posable and adjustable, so that's pretty cool. Let's put it on the model and see how it looks. So with our model complete, how does it stack up? Well, I don't have a whole lot of models handy. I do have my little Space Marine here, and as you can see, there's a good size difference. We've got one of our Neko from the Neko Buso line as well, still quite bigger. I grabbed our Great Mazinga that we put the cross silhouette parts in, and you can see they're pretty similar in size, which is a little bit disappointing, but then again, with those cross silhouette parts in there, Great Mazinga, I should say, is quite big. Now, grabbing another bit from our MiniPla line, I have the Kishi Ryu, or whatever you want to call it there. And you can see he is quite a bit bigger. So, the overall figure I'm pretty happy with. Now, this isn't like a regular, everyday kit that, you know, I think Bandai's going to sell millions of models of. And that's probably why it ended up in the Super MiniPla line in the first place. We haven't seen the Mazingas in the line, but, you know, I guess this is the first of the dynamic production robots that we've seen there. Posability, quite nice. Seems to be staying together quite sturdy and stable. With the cape on, it gets a little bit top heavy if you really want to get dynamic with the poses. Something to worry about, I guess. But overall, it's pretty nice and sturdy. The plastic itself doesn't feel like the same kind of material that the Gunpla is made out of. It seems a little nicer, softer, almost like a varnish to it, for lack of better terms. I mean, so it's not, supermarket quality, but, for about 2,000 yen, you get a completed kit. It is a little bit smaller. I'd say a little close to a 1/144 size Gundam. I'll have to get a ruler out and put the exact measurements later, but for my first introduction to the Super MiniPla line, I'm pleasantly surprised, and it is the Black Getter after all, so it's not something we see every day, especially in model form for a reasonable price. Now that I own it, I don't really think I need to get the Getter 1 set, because honestly and truly, Getter 1 was all I was really after, and I think this guy is a much better version as it is. Quite happy to have it, quite happy to have built it, and hopefully you found this quite useful as well. With that said, this is High Lord Tamerlane with Obscurities Miniatures saying hit all those buttons if you want to, if you haven't already, and we'll be back with more later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.